Good morning and welcome to WWDC.
Let's talk about iOS. And the next release, iOS 16, let's get started with the all-new lock screen. In iOS 16, we're bringing the biggest update ever to the lock screen, completely reimagining how it looks and works for you.
I am out of ordinary.
Now, if I just press and hold, I can personalize it further. I'll just tap Customize, and now I'm in the editor. I can simply swipe to try out different styles that automatically change the color filter, the background, and the font for the time, all to complement each other. All I need to do is tap on any element of the lock screen to start editing. So let's customize the font. I can audition different typefaces and choose from different colors. I can also make my lock screen more helpful by putting widgets right on the lock screen. So I'll add the temperature, my activity rings, and let's drag in the calendar widget. Now I've created a bunch of other lock screens, and by simply swiping, I can switch between them. Notifications now roll in from the bottom of the lock screen as you receive them, and you can choose to hide them throughout the day. Live activities make it easier to stay on top of things that are happening in real time. This will make it really easy to follow that NBA game, track the progress of an Uber ride, see how you're doing on your workout, and more. Focus has helped people reduce distractions and stay in the moment, starting with extending focus to your lock screen. This means your choice of a photo and widgets can all be tied to a particular focus. You can have a dedicated one for when you're in a work focus, with widgets showing your upcoming meeting or to-do list. Or with just a swipe, you can activate your personal focus. All of your corresponding notification settings apply, and it extends to your home screen too. We're adding 3 of the most highly requested features to messages. Now you can edit any message you just sent, so embarrassing typos can be a thing of the past. Second, have you ever wished you'd never sent that message at all? Well, good news, now you have undo send, so you can immediately recall a recent misfire. And finally, you can now mark any thread as unread, a perfect tool if you don't have time to respond in the moment. We're extending SharePlay beyond FaceTime and bringing it to messages. When you find something you want to share, like a movie on Disney+, you can kick off SharePlay right there and enjoy it together while chatting in messages. You can watch in sync, and you've got the same instantaneous shared playback controls that make SharePlay magical.
We're excited to introduce an all-new on-device dictation experience that lets you fluidly move between voice and touch. Now, when I start dictating, the keyboard stays open, so I can switch between using voice and touch. By bringing live text to video, now you can pause a video on any frame and interact with text, just like you can today with photos. We're also accelerating the things you do with live text with quick actions. So now you're just a tap away from converting currency and translating a foreign language. Soon, you will be able to grab text straight from photos and videos in apps like Vimeo. Now, when you touch and hold on the subject of an image, you can lift it away from the background and place it in apps like Messages.
The best way to get wherever you're going is with Maps. And with the new city experience, we pushed it even further with unprecedented detail for land cover, roads, and elevation, as well as improved driving and transit navigation. And we're adding Las Vegas, which looks stunning. And before the end of the year, we'll add 6 more cities, including Miami, Chicago, and Sydney.
Multi-stop routing. You can now plan up to 15 stops in advance. Maps will now store previous routes in recents, so they're easy to get back to. And you can plan multi-stop routes on the Mac and send them to iPhone when you're ready to go. Let's talk about getting around with transit. We're making it easy for riders to see fares for how much their journey will cost, along with the ability to add transit cards to Wallet.
We've been working closely with organizations that support victims of domestic and intimate partner violence. And the result of those conversations is Safety Check, a new section in settings where you can quickly review and reset the access you've granted others. This lets people in abusive situations quickly revoke an abuser's access. Safety Check also helps you manage who you've given access to. And you can audit which permissions you've granted to certain apps.
This next generation of CarPlay provides content for all the driver's screens, giving an experience that is unified and consistent. It's the very best of both your car and your iPhone, and it goes beyond what you can do with CarPlay today. Deep integration with the car's hardware lets you tune your car's radio or change your temperature without ever leaving the CarPlay experience. It also includes widgets powered by your iPhone that fit your screens perfectly. They can live front and center in the gauge cluster as well, giving you information at a glance. In fact, this next generation of CarPlay powers your entire instrument cluster. Vehicles will start to be announced late next year, and we can't wait to show you more further down the road.
Apple Watch continues to be the most loved watch in the world because it helps you stay connected, active, and healthy. In watchOS 9, we're bringing great new features to each of these three areas. watchOS 9 also introduces a refreshed Siri UI and new banner notifications. And active apps will be pinned to the top of the dock for quick access.
The first thing we're doing is adding 3 new running form metrics to track how efficiently you run. We use machine learning and sensor fusion, a combination of accelerometer and gyroscope to isolate your torso movement and then measure how much vertical oscillation is produced. We use a similar approach to measure the 2 other running form metrics, stride length and ground contact time. Each workout view lets you see more at a glance. Scroll the digital crown to see new views for familiar metrics like segments, splits, and elevation. And we're introducing heart rate zones, so you can quickly see what zone you're in and get a sense of your intensity level at any point during your workout. There are many iPhone users who want to meet their fitness goals but don't yet have an Apple Watch. So in iOS 16, the Fitness app will be available to all iPhone users. Using the iPhone motion sensors, you can track steps, distance, flights climbed, and workouts from your favorite apps.
In watchOS 9, you'll be able to learn more about your sleep with sleep stages. Apple Watch uses signals from the accelerometer and heart rate sensor to detect which stage of sleep you're in. You can see how much time you spent in each stage, as well as when you might have woken up. You'll see more details in the Health app, where you'll learn that each sleep stage, REM, core, and deep, perform an essential function. And as you sleep, you're likely to cycle through these stages multiple times. We hear from so many of you who have received an atrial fibrillation alert and sought potentially life-saving care. So we also wanted to offer support once you've been diagnosed. When living with this condition, it's important to understand the time you spend in AFib because it may relate to your risk of serious complications such as stroke. watchOS 9 can now track the amount of time your heart shows signs of this rhythm with AFib history. We wanted to help make it easier to track, manage, and understand the medications that you take. So in watchOS 9, the Medications app makes it easy for you to discreetly and conveniently track your medications, vitamins, and supplements anytime. You can receive notifications for medications that you need to take regularly. Another important aspect of medications is drug-drug interactions, which can make them less effective or cause side effects. To help you with this, you'll receive an alert when you add a new medication if there is a critical interaction.
Well, today, we're excited to start the next generation of Apple Silicon for the Mac. Introducing M2.
M2 starts the second generation of M-series chips and goes beyond the remarkable features of M1. M2 is built using an enhanced second-generation 5nm technology and features over 20 billion transistors. That's 25% more than M1. We use those transistors to enhance every feature of the chip, starting with the memory controller, which delivers 100 GB per second of unified memory bandwidth, which is 50% more than M1 for even greater performance. For M2, we've enabled up to 24 GB of unified memory to handle even larger and more complex workloads. M2 features our next generation CPU with advancements in both the performance and efficiency cores. The performance cores are faster and feature a larger cache, and the efficiency cores have been significantly enhanced for even greater performance gains. When we look at the multi-core CPU performance of M2 compared to M1, it delivers 18% greater performance. Let's compare M2 to the latest 12-core PC laptop chip, which needs dramatically more power to deliver an increase in performance. So it's in a thicker, hotter, more noisy system with less battery life. M2 delivers nearly 90% of the peak performance of the 12-core chip while using just a quarter of the power. M2 also features our next generation GPU, which now has up to 10 cores. That's 2 more than M1. Combined with a larger cache and higher memory bandwidth, the 10-core GPU delivers a big boost in graphics performance. M2 delivers up to 25% higher graphics performance at the same power level as M1, and up to 35% higher performance at its max.
Let's talk about the first Mac to get the M2 chip. We're thrilled that it's our most loved Mac, the MacBook Air.
The new MacBook Air takes everything our users love about the Air to the next level. The wedge shape of the previous Air has evolved into a new design that's strikingly thin from every angle. The durable, all-aluminum unibody enclosure feels incredibly solid when you hold it and is built to last. And this remarkably thin design integrates its components so efficiently that it results in an astonishing 20% reduction in volume over the previous Air. The new Air is just 11.3 millimeters thin, or under half an inch, and it's only 2.7 pounds. MacBook Air now comes in 4 finishes: silver, space gray, a gorgeous starlight, and a stunning midnight. And yes, MagSafe is back for dedicated charging and peace of mind when you're plugged in. And it keeps the 2 Thunderbolt ports free for connecting to a variety of accessories. There's also an audio jack with support for high-impedance headphones. It's loaded with new features, starting with a brilliant liquid Retina display. We expanded the display closer to the sides and up around the camera to make room for the menu bar. The result is a larger 13.6-inch display with much thinner borders. At 500 nits, it's also 25% brighter than before. MacBook Air features a new 1080p camera with twice the resolution and twice the low-light performance of the previous Air. For intensive workloads like editing complex timelines in Final Cut Pro, performance is nearly 40% faster than the previous Air. All these capabilities are built into a silent, fanless design. And even with a larger display and increased performance, the Air delivers the same great all-day battery life with up to 18 hours of video playback. There's also some new charging options, including a compact power adapter with 2 USB-C ports, so you can charge 2 devices at once. And for the first time, the Air supports fast charge with an available 67-watt adapter, so you can charge up to 50% in just 30 minutes.
M2 is coming to another Mac, which is actually the world's second best-selling laptop, the 13-inch MacBook Pro. Now with M2, you get even more capabilities in the same great form factor. With a faster 8-core CPU and 10-core GPU, working with raw images in apps like Affinity Photo is nearly 40% faster than the previous generation, and over 3 times faster if you're upgrading from a model without Apple Silicon. With an active cooling system, the MacBook Pro is designed to sustain its pro performance. And thanks to M2, it also supports up to 24 gigabytes of unified memory. The all-new MacBook Air starts at $1199 and just $1099 for education. The powerful 13-inch MacBook Pro starts at $1299 and $1199 for education. And they'll be available next month. And the MacBook Air with M1 stays in the lineup at $999 and just $899 for education.
This year, we focused on making the core things you do with macOS even better. macOS Ventura enriches so many of the ways we use our Macs. So let's jump in. This year, we have a new way to automatically keep everything organized and give you quick access to your windows. It's called Stage Manager. Let's activate Stage Manager from Control Center. As you see, it automatically arranges all my windows for me off to the side and puts the app I'm currently working with front and center. When I bring forward a different app, like clicking on Mail here in the dock, you'll see that it's brought to the stage and Safari gracefully moves over to the left with my other recent apps. When I click on Safari, it retakes the stage and Mail moves back to the left. When I click, I get the top one. And if I want a different window, I can cycle through them just by clicking. It's really convenient. Here, I'll drag in Notes and pair it with my Pages window. This is so great when I'm working on projects that involve a specific group of windows, like planning a trip with these 3 apps here. And if I go back to my previous group, Stage Manager keeps my windows arranged just as I left them.
And now Safari has a new way to share your favorite content with others with shared tab groups. Whether you're planning a trip with friends or shopping for a couch with your partner, you can share all the tabs in one place. And when they find something great, they can add tabs too. You can see which tabs your friends are looking at live, and using built-in collaboration, you can easily connect in real time over messages or FaceTime. Passkeys use powerful cryptographic techniques and the biometrics built into your device to keep accounts safe. To create a passkey, just use Touch ID or Face ID to authenticate, and you're done. When users create a passkey, a unique digital key is created that only works for the site it was created for. Passkeys can't be phished. Since the passkey never leaves your devices, hackers can't trick you into sharing it on a fake website. And passkeys can't be leaked because nothing secret is kept on a web server. We've designed passkeys to work in apps as easily as they do on the web. Passkeys are securely synced across Apple devices using iCloud Keychain. With a passkey, you'll be able to walk up to a non-Apple device and sign into a website or app using just your iPhone.
We continue to improve Metal. It's the software that powers hardware-accelerated graphics on all our platforms. And now, Metal 3 brings new features that will unleash the full potential of Apple Silicon for years to come. Gaming at maximum resolution and quality looks awesome. And to help game developers increase the performance of realistic and immersive graphics, we're introducing Metal Effects Upscaling, which enables developers to render rich, visually complex scenes even faster. It works by rendering smaller, less compute-intensive frames, and then applies high-quality spatial upscaling and temporal anti-aliasing, and it's so cool. No Man's Sky, coming to Mac later this year, will be one of the first games to use Metal Effects Upscaling. Let's hear from the team that has created the acclaimed Resident Evil Village. We are so excited it's coming to the Mac.
ご覧ください。滑らかに描写されたこの恐ろしくも美しい情景を。ここではハイクオリティのテクスチャー、ジオメトリ、そして複雑なシェーダーを扱っています。メタル FX アップスケーリングによりこのような
Today, we're extending handoff to FaceTime. Now picture this. You answer a FaceTime call on your iPhone while you're away from your desk. When you get home and bring your iPhone up close to your Mac automatically recognizes the call on your iPhone, and you can move it to your Mac seamlessly, giving you a bigger view to continue the conversation. You can hand off calls in any direction between your devices, so you'll always be able to join the call from the right one. And now, with Continuity Camera, you can use iPhone as your webcam. Now, I'm just gonna pop this stand on my iPhone and attach it to my display. Let's launch FaceTime. You can see my Mac automatically detects my iPhone and uses it as the camera. I don't even have to wake up my iPhone.
You know, one thing I love about Continuity Camera is center stage. I can move around and center stage will keep me in the frame. I'll frequently pair that with portrait mode to blur the background with that beautiful bokeh. A new one people are gonna love is Studio Light. Check this out. It brightens my face and darkens the background. Now I wanna show my favorite new feature, Desk View. You can see the work that's on my desk and it keeps me in the picture. It is amazing. Take a look. It looks like I have a dedicated overhead camera, but this is Desk View, creating both of these views from the one ultra-wide camera on my iPhone using some very powerful image processing. I didn't even need to adjust my phone.
And we're working with Belkin to offer beautiful stands to hold your iPhone at the perfect height and angle. These will be available later this year. This year, in iPadOS 16, we have a big release. We're also bringing weather to iPad, taking full advantage of the stunning display with beautiful animations like these gently moving clouds, heavy snowfall, and driving rain. And all of these modules are tappable to access detailed information and new features for pro users that take advantage of the power of the M1 chip. So let's start with collaboration. Here in Pages, I've been collecting our ideas. I want to share this with the group. In the past, when I'd tap Share, I'd end up sharing a copy. But now, you'll notice I can start collaboration right here. Everyone can immediately join and start making edits like the ones you see here. And back in the Messages conversation, I even get a notice of any changes I might have missed. When you're collaborating live, sometimes you want a space where you can brainstorm and capture ideas as they strike. So today, we're giving you a sneak peek at a brand new app called Freeform coming later this year.
Now, you can be on a FaceTime call, and with a tap, you're all collaborating live on a Freeform board. You can add almost anything to a board. It's perfect for brainstorming sessions, jotting down notes, sharing files, or even creating diagrams with others. It's flexible, limited only by your imagination. As others begin adding their thoughts, you can see their live cursors showing you right where they're working. And if someone is in another part of Freeform, you can just tap to jump straight to where they are on the board.
Freeform is going to be a great way to brainstorm your ideas with others, and we're building it right into iPadOS, macOS, and iOS later this year. This year, we're continuing our work to make iPad apps more capable with desktop-class apps. While many iPad apps have their origins in iOS, over the years, they've taken on their own unique capabilities, optimized for the iPad's larger display. In iPadOS 16, we scoured the entire system, adding enhancements across the board, from system elements and interactions to new features you use on Mac and want on iPad. Let me highlight a few of them. Undo Redo across the system, Availability View in Calendar, Find and merge cards and create lists in Contacts. And we have a big update to Files with some of the most requested features, such as the ability to change file extensions, view folder size, and more. We've also added system-wide features that deliver improvements across apps, starting with a redesigned find and replace experience that works inline. A document menu in apps like Files, Pages, and Keynote that reveals common actions you may want to take, such as duplicate, rename, export, and print. And for the first time ever, customizable toolbars in iPadOS, so you can add the tools that matter to you most. The Liquid Retina XDR display in our latest 12.9-inch iPad Pro is great for professional color workflows. And with iPadOS 16, we're introducing Reference Mode, which meets the color requirements in workflows like Review and Approve, color grading, and compositing, where accurate colors and consistent image quality are critical. So whether you prefer using iPad Pro as a standalone device or as a second display with Sidecar, Reference Mode provides a consistent reference workflow across your Pro devices. Now, I want to turn our attention to a set of features enabled by the performance of the M1 chip in our latest iPad Pro and iPad Air. Features for people who push the versatility of iPad to the limit. Pros are always wanting more space to work with, so we're adding a new display scaling setting, which allows you to increase the pixel density of the display so you can view more in your apps, which is particularly helpful when using split view. iPadOS 16 adds support for virtual memory swap, meaning your iPad storage can be used to expand the available memory for all apps and delivers up to 16 gigabytes of memory to the most demanding apps. With technologies like display scaling and virtual memory swap, we have the foundation for a big leap forward in user experience, one that can change how our Pro users get work done on iPad. So we're bringing Stage Manager, our latest windowing system that you just saw in macOS, to iPadOS. Stage Manager takes multitasking on iPad to a whole new level by making it more nimble and unlocking full external display support. With Stage Manager activated, I can now resize windows, exposing a powerful new way to work with apps on iPad. And the dock is visible, so I can easily get to all my apps. Let's open Music. You'll notice that all my recently used apps appear on the left, so switching between them is really fast. And Stage Manager gives me powerful new layout capabilities to create my ideal workspace. For the first time on iPad, I can work with overlapping windows. I'm going to drag Messages alongside Calendar here. And Stage Manager automatically moves Calendar gently off to the side as I bring it to the stage. And if I move Messages to the left, Stage Manager repositions Calendar for me automatically. And like you saw earlier, I can resize windows and arrange everything just the way I want. And it gets even better when I plug my iPad into an external display. My wallpaper beautifully fills the entire display, and I can move my cursor to it from my iPad. I have the dock here too, so let's go ahead and launch Keynote. When I do, I once again enter Stage Manager, now on an even bigger canvas. I can create groups of 3 and even 4 windows. This is just incredibly powerful. Between my iPad and my external display, I can have up to 8 apps running on screen simultaneously.
Our OS releases will be available as developer betas today, and each of them will have a public beta next month. All of these OS releases will be available to our users this fall.